You have seen it is 1.51, whereas KMnO4 in alkaline or neutral medium, the E0 values are around 0.56 or 59 volts. That's why KMnO4 is a powerful oxidizing agent in acid medium. And I have told you that you have to acidify the medium when you are using KMnO4. And which acids you can use for acidifying KMnO4? Usually you have done permanganometry in school also, right? Have you done permanganometry in school?
Ma'am, can we H2SO4, I think?
H2SO4, dilute sulfuric acid, is the most suitable acid for acidification. Okay. Why dilute sulfuric acid only is used? Why not HNO3? Why not HNO3? HNO3, you know, nitric acid is itself is an oxidizing agent. Okay. So it will oxidize the reducing agent that you are using. Right. So HNO3, nitric acid, cannot be used for acidification here. You are using only dilute sulfuric acid for acidification. Can you use HCl, hydrochloric acid? Even hydrochloric acid cannot be used for acidification here because HCl will react with potassium permanganate, liberating chlorine gas. All of you write down that reaction. MnO4 minus potassium permanganate. We are writing the iron electron method only. We are writing the equations in terms of iron electron method. So MnO4 minus reacts with Cl minus HCl, H plus giving Mn2 plus Cl2. Chlorine gas is liberated. If HCl is used for acidification, it will react with KMnO4, releasing chlorine gas. So you complete that reaction. Balancing you do yourselves. Okay, Mn2 plus chlorine plus water, H2O. So if you are using HCl for acidification, KMnO4 will react with HCl, releasing chlorine gas. And you all know that chlorine gas is an oxidizing agent. Okay, it's an oxidizing agent. So just like HNO3, nitric acid, this also will interfere in the titration. So you cannot use HCl or HNO3 for acidifying the medium. Only dilute sulfuric acid is used. Another important point you have to keep in mind, we have earlier done it in acid-base titrations. What is a primary standard? What is a primary standard? What is a secondary standard? All these points we have discussed earlier. Do you remember it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
KMnO4 is not a primary standard. So in all these titrations, you have to standardize the given KMnO4 using a primary standard. And the primary standard, since KMnO4 is an oxidizing agent, the primary standard should be a reducing agent. And the primary standard that you are using here is Morse salt. So always in these titrations, you have to prepare standard solution of Morse salt by weighing by difference method as you have done for acid-base titrations. Remember? What is the first step in acid-base titrations? What is the first step?
Standardize HCl by titrating.
Preparation of standard solution using a primary standard. Here also you are going to do that as the first step of these double titration processes. So you have to prepare a primary standard, and the primary standard you are using here is Morse salt, okay, to standardize the given KMnO4. But here you need an acid medium. You will be using dilute sulfuric acid to acidify. Okay. So why KMnO4 is not a primary standard? Why KMnO4 is not a primary standard? All these points you have to include when you write the theory of redox titrations. It's not a primary standard because KMnO4 is always associated with MnO2. It's not completely free from MnO2. Okay. And moreover, it reacts with ordinary, you are using distilled water. Okay. Some reducing substances may be there in distilled water. It will react with KMnO4, again producing MnO2. So because of all these reasons, MnO2 can auto-catalyze decomposition reactions of permanganate on standing, forming this MnO2 again. So potassium permanganate is not a primary standard. So you have to always standardize potassium permanganate using a standard solution of more salt, or you can use another reducing agent. Oxalic acid also can be used for standardizing it. Okay. And another point that you have to keep in mind when you are doing the titration of KMnO4 with a reducing agent. Okay, with a reducing agent, when you add KMnO4 from the burette, you have to add it slowly with constant swirling motion of the conical flask. You have to add it slowly. Slowly means add dropwise with constant shaking of the conical flask. Otherwise, what happens? If you add it in one stretch, the pink color, you may add excess of permanganate, and the pink color may not, become colorless during the reaction. The reaction will become very slow, and you will be adding excess of permanganate. And if another point that you have to keep in mind, if sufficient quantity of sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid is not present, you are using dilute sulfuric acid to acidify the medium in these titrations. So if sufficient quantity is not there, in that case, you may get a brown colored solution during titration. And if you do the titration fast also, this problem can happen, a brown precipitate or brown colored solution. This is due to the formation of MnO2, manganese dioxide. So whenever you are doing these titrations, you have to do it slowly and dropwise this oxidizing agent from the burette and dropwise with constant shaking of the conical flask. Okay, so if you get a brown color in the solution while doing the titration, just throw it and repeat the titration till you get a light pink color in the solution. Okay, so another point I have already told you that potassium titrations, the color at the end point should be light pink. The first appearance of the light pink color is the end point of the titration. If you keep on adding KMnO4, the color will be pink only. So these end points you can check by doing the back titration. If you think that in the first titration you have added excess of KMnO4, then you can back titrate that solution. Okay, you add 1 drop of reducing agent and see if the color disappears or not. Otherwise, if with 1 drop it's not disappearing, that means you have added excess of KMnO4. So you can always check the endpoints by doing the back titration. Another point that I would like to discuss here is about equivalent weights of oxidizing agents and reducing agents. So in acid-base titrations, you have seen how to find out the equivalent weight of salts like sodium carbonate, where you have used it for preparing standard solutions. Do you remember it? Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
So anhydrous sodium carbonate you have used there for preparing standard solution. So you must know, since you are preparing normal solutions, you must know the equivalent weights of these oxidizing and reducing agents that you are using. So in calculations, this will help you. Okay. For sodium carbonate, you know how to find out the equivalent weight. For salts, what is the equation for finding out equivalent weights? For salts like sodium carbonate, molecular mass divided by
Charge on metal ion.
number of positive ions or the number of positive charges, right? So you have seen that for sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, the charges, so divided by 2, molar mass divided by 2. Similarly here, for potassium permanganate, if you want to find out the equivalent weight of the oxidizing and reducing agent, more salt, how do you find it out? For oxidizing or reducing agent, how do you find it out? In terms of number of electrons, okay, number of electrons gained or lost. So molecular mass of KMnO4, if you want to find out the equivalent weight of KMnO4, so molecular mass divided by number of electrons in the reaction. So in acid medium, the electron change is, how many electrons are involved? In acid medium, in KMnO4 is used 5 electrons. So in acid medium, when you are calculating equivalent weight, molecular mass divided by 5. Whereas in alkaline medium, number of electrons are from +7 gets reduced to MnO2 in alkaline medium. Okay, not Mn2 plus like that in acid medium. In alkaline medium, all these reactions we'll be discussing in the next class. I'll show you the slide for that. Okay, till then you just understand. In alkaline medium, it's how many electron change? From +7 in KMnO4, it becomes MnO2. MnO2 means, what is the oxidation state of manganese in MnO2? +4. It's a 3 electron change only. It's a 3 electrons change, right? So in alkaline medium, equivalent weight of KMnO4 is molecular mass divided by 3, not 5. That means, what does it mean? The equivalent weight of KMnO4 depends upon the medium. It's medium dependent. In acidic medium, it is molecular mass divided by 5, whereas in alkaline medium, it depends upon the number of electrons involved. Okay, so you keep that in mind. It has different equivalent weights in different mediums. So that method that we use is called ion electron method, which I just mentioned earlier. Okay, so in acid medium, equivalent weight of KMnO4 is its molecular mass, that is 159 divided by 5. So since you are using acid medium in the titrations in your lab, you'll be using this value for the equivalent weight of KMnO4. Okay, 159 divided by 5, it's around 31.6. Okay, that will be the equivalent weight, the equivalent mass, or it's called, so equivalent mass of KMnO4 in acid medium. Okay, and what about more salt? More salt molecular mass is 392. 392, it is FeSO4, NH4 twice SO4, 6H2O. Okay, it gets oxidized in this redox titration. It gets oxidized to Fe2, gets oxidized to Fe3, ferric sulfate, Fe3. So it's a 1 electron change. So the equivalent mass of more salt is the molecular mass itself. Molar mass divided by what is the electron number of electron? It is 1. So molecular mass itself. So in the calculations, you have to use these values for equivalent weights. Now about redox indicators, I've told you KMnO4 acts as its own indicator. Just like that in acid-base titrations, titrations are dependent upon pH change. Here it depends upon the standard electrode potential, E0 value. So for different systems, even in your Viva, if at all you have your Viva with external examiners, if you don't have your Viva with externals, you'll have, of course, your Viva, oral Viva with your internals. Now, 2 teachers are there. Both of us will be taking your Viva. Even next week, we are going to take your Viva for acid-base titration. So, all of you be prepared. And it carries 5 marks. We are marking you. I've told you earlier also, it is continuous evaluation process. So, we are marking you in every class. So next time be prepared for the Viva. So there they will ask you what is a self indicator, what is the difference between an internal indicator and a self indicator, what is an external indicator, all these things will be asked, and about E0 values of different systems. So for this particular system, MnO4 minus Mn2 plus system, the E0 value all of you should know. In acid medium, it is 1.51 volt. So it's a powerful oxidizing agent in acid medium. Similarly, for ferric ferrous system, what is the value? You should know it's around 0.77 volt, 0.77. So all these points you have to write when you write the theory of redox titrations. And the last time in acid-base titrations, I have given you the soft copy of quantitative Vogel. So these redox titrations are also discussed there in detail. So from there, you can write the theory of redox titrations. Once you have recorded the last experiment in acid titrations, that is the last one. Which one was it? Soaps and detergents. After you record that, soaps and detergents, total alkalinity in soap solution, after that, you can, on the next page, you can write redox titrations in capital letters and write the theory of redox titrations. Okay, redox titrations, what are redox titrations, and all these points that I have mentioned. There you have to mention about the standard electrode potential values. After writing all these points in theory, then only you will start with your next experiment. That will be your experiment number. Experiment number. You have done how many experiments? Experiment number 5. Yeah. And that experiment will be aim. I'm just telling you in the next class to determine the strength of given more salt solution by titrating with approximately N by 20 potassium permanganate solution. Prepare your own standard more salt solution. So the KMnO4 solution given to you, you know KMnO4 is not a primary standard. You have to standardize that given solution. That's of approximately N by 20 normality. You have to find out the actual normality of that solution. Okay. So for that, you will be preparing a standard more salt solution and then doing the titration in acid medium using dilute sulfuric acid. All those things we'll be discussing in detail in the next class. But when you come next time for this experiment, next week when you come, you must write down in your auxiliary notebook the reduction half reaction. Today I made you write it down. So you have to repeat it in this experiment, experiment number 1. Okay. when you write aim of the experiment, then next you will be writing theory. Theory already you are discussing in redox titrations in 3-4 pages. But here in theory, you will be writing this reduction half reaction, oxidation half reaction in terms of electrons, and then net redox reaction. Okay. So in theory, you will write these equations. Then in procedure, you will be writing the different steps as I have discussed in the last class. Here, what are the different steps? We'll tell you in the next class. Okay. Now, while you are using KMnO4 solution, you know that you will be filling KMnO4 in the burette. Okay. And the reducing agent, that more salt solution, you will be taking in the conical flask for titration with KMnO4 taken in the burette. Okay. So, you know that KMnO4 is not a primary standard, and KMnO4 solution is not taken in a burette with a rubber tubing because it will react with rubber tube. Okay, so you have to be careful while doing KMnO4 titrations. You know, it produces a dark color. So you have to be careful, and all these, even more salt, when more salt is okay, there's not much problem. But while pipetting it out, you have to be very careful with all these chemicals. And when you are doing, before you start with the titrations, you have to thoroughly clean all the apparatus, burette, pipettes, conical flask, everything. And you have to rinse the burette, okay? Rinse the burette and pipette with the solutions to be taken. So burette, after washing with distilled water, cleaning and washing with distilled water, you have to rinse it with KMnO4 solution. And while adjusting the mark, you know that KMnO4 is a colored solution. Okay, so when you read the when you see the reading for colored solutions, you see the upper meniscus. Whereas in acid-base titrations, the solutions were colorless. For colorless solutions, you can read the lower meniscus. Whereas since KMnO4 is a colored solution, reading of lower meniscus won't be accurate. So for colored solutions, you read the upper meniscus. Okay. So these are some points that you have to keep in mind. Pipette and burette should be rinsed with the solution to be taken in them, whereas the conical flask should not be rinsed with the solution to be pipetted out. It should be rinsed with distilled water only. If you rinse it with the solution to be taken, that is more salt solution, you can see that there will be a change in concentration, because more salt solution will be there in the conical flask. You are pipetting out 10 ml. If you are rinsing it, it will be more than 10 ml. But this should not be done. It should not be rinsed with the solution to be taken. Or the conical flask should be rinsed with distilled water only after cleaning. Okay. So these are some common points that you should know. Now about the experimental part, we'll tell you next time in detail. I have given an indication of what you are going to do next time, and I have discussed with you the common points that you have to keep in mind, which acid has to be taken, and have to be careful with the chemicals. Okay. So that's all about, general introduction to redox titrations. Now, Manoj. Manoj?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You want to tell them something extra about redox titration?
No, I think
I have just given them a general introduction of what they are going to do.
I think, ma'am, you have explained in a detailed way, And
so next time for the experiment, you prepare a PPT with you know, all these redox indicators. What are the redox indicators, and what about the electrode potential of the system for different, because we are doing permanganate manganese system, dichromate chromic system, ferric ferrous system, etc. So about the E0 values of these particular systems, and what do you mean by these E0 values? What is the redox potential? Just like that we have discussed in, you know, pH dependence in acid-base titrations. Here, the titrations are dependent upon the redox potential of the system. So you can mention about the Nernst equation also. Okay. Yes. So you prepare a PPT with this, and the first experiment that they will be doing, I have already told them what is the first experiment that they are doing. So there you can show the different steps. Step 1, preparation of standard Mohr salt solution. Step 2, finding, you know, to find out the normality of KMnO4 solution, or it's called standardization of given KMnO4. And step 3, titration of given Mohr salt solution with standardized KMnO4 solution. So, including all these points, you can prepare a brief PPT so that students will get a good idea about the experiment that they are going to do. Okay? That is for next week.
Okay, ma'am.
So, students, is that all right for you? Yes, ma'am. Okay, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.